foundation Sunday. I know, typically I upload my foundation reviews on Friday, but when I ordered this foundation from Ulta, it took a few days to get here, and it just finally arrived. So I'm actually going to test this out for 3 days, and I wanted to give it a full review because if I uploaded my video on Friday, I would have only been able to wear it for 1 day, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to wear this foundation Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and then I'm uploading my review on Sunday. So what I'm talking about is the new one from L'Oreal. Well, I guess it's new to the United States. I guess everybody else in the world has been able to use this foundation. This is the L'Oreal Infallible 24-hour fresh wear foundation. Now I have 2 shades here, which I get into that later on in the video. You can buy this on Amazon for $11.99. If I would have known that I could have got this on Amazon, I totally would have done that. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. Because on Ulta, it's $14.99. So I'm going to put the link to both of them in the description box down below so that you can decide where you want to buy it from. I have it in the shade 480 and 485. This foundation has 30 shades, and it looks like they have a pretty good variety of shades within light, medium to dark. Let me get into a little bit of information about the foundation. Introducing L'Oreal's breakthrough longwear foundation with breathable skin technology. Infallible Fresh Wear 24-hour foundation provides medium to full buildable coverage that lasts all day and allows the skin to breathe. The formula's 3 oil absorbers resist sweat, water, and transfer. The ultra-thin liquid goes on smoothly to give a fresh, healthy looking complexion that lasts. Color stays true and blends in evenly, so your makeup looks fresh all day. It's supposed to be 24-hour wear, breathable, lightweight, sweat resistant, all that stuff. So there's a lot of claims on this foundation. That is what we're playing with today. I'm very excited about it. You guys know that I am on the hunt to try to find those really good foundations out there. I am 39 years old, and right now I have dry, normal skin. I'm using a retinol cream, so I'm a little bit more drier. Plus, it's the middle of winter. I've got like 1.5 foot of snow where I live, and my skin is dry right now, and so I have hyperpigmentation. I have issues with some texture right around here. I've got the under eye wrinkles, all that jazz. I'm excited to put this product to the test and see how it looks over wrinkles, see how it wears, because I know that as we age, you have to be even more careful with the foundation that you wear because it can really age you and make you look 10 times older, and that is not something that we want. Now, I will say right off the bat, when I heard the word fresh wear, I was expecting this to be more of a fresh type foundation, more of a dewier type foundation, and I would not call this dewy at all. I would say this is more of a matte foundation. So just putting that out there, for those of you guys that do not like matte, this might not be the foundation for you. So that's what we're gonna do today. I'm hoping you guys are excited about this, and without further ado, let's jump right into the video. First of all, I'm really dry, so I really need to put on my Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched face base. Like, my face is so dry. Like, most of the time, this time of year, I'm much more drier than I am right now. And I kind of have a feeling it's the Halo Beauty vitamin that I'm taking. I'm taking the Kiwi one, like the cheaper bottle from Tati. It's almost like it's keeping my skin from not like completely being just like a mess. So I don't know, because that's the only thing I'm doing different. So I ordered Radiant Sand and Golden Sun, and I believe that 485 is Golden Sun and the 480 is Radiant Sand. Okay, so this is the front of the bottle, but the pump is on this side. Where's the pump? So this is the front of the bottle, but the pump is over here on the side. I've never really seen that before. It's interesting. First one is 480. Oh, shiz. And this one is 485. So I might mix these shades, which I hate doing for you guys, especially if you guys are close to my shade match. I hate mixing them because, you know, if you guys are trying to find a shade close to mine, then, you know what I mean? Like, I hate mixing them, but for the sake of the video and trying to really give this a good test, I think I'm just gonna mix those two together. So I've mixed it here, and it's pretty runny, a very liquidy foundation. I'm gonna apply half of the face with the Morphe sponge. I got me a new one. When I got the foundation, I grabbed me a new sponge because I really do love this sponge, and I love the one from Wander Beauty. And I think I'll apply the other side of the face with a brush. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply this side with this brush, and I'm just using the Y6 from Morphe. Wow, That blends out good. I'm getting okay coverage. So I am going to take the sponge and kind of build up some of the coverage right here. But see, that made such a difference. Just right there on the forehead, just building up that coverage. But this looks pretty natural. I'm going to build up some coverage right here. Let's go on this side and start kind of building this up and spreading it around. The sponge is so hard. It drives me crazy. Okay, I can say right away I like the sponge side so much better. And I got a hair all over my face. That Morphe sponge was just like banging my face too. It's just too hard. I gotta, you know, wet it down and kind of clean it and get it really wet and kind of use it because it just feels like I'm like putting a brick against my face. It drives me crazy. This doesn't really have like a strong scent, but I do think mixing those two shades is my perfect match, which is a bummer because that's the hard part about ordering foundations from the drugstore and stuff. Like, they don't give you a very good description. That shit drives me crazy because I'm like, well, how do I know what sun beige is? What is sun beige? And you can't tell from the picture. I mean, come on. It's almost like they want you to buy a bunch of bottles for trial and error. You know, they want you to buy like 4 or 5 bottles until you find your right shade. Drives me nuts. It's drying down pretty matte. When they say fresh, I'm kind of curious as to what that means. It feels mattifying to me and it feels dry. Like, this is how I'm feeling right off the bat. So, like, if you start kind of doing this and you move your, like, mouth, it almost feels like your skin kind of pulls. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes a lot of sense, but maybe once I put some setting spray and maybe some, you know, hydrating mist or something over this, I'll probably like it more. But the way that it feels right now, like it dries down and it almost feels mask-like. It almost feels like, now, I mean, it's dried down and I don't feel like it's going anywhere. I have a clean white thing right here. Let me show you. Like, I'm not getting any transfer. So this is like dried down. I just don't like the way it's looking around my wrinkles. I do not like the way it's looking around my texture, but for the most part, it's not bad. I'm on the fence right now is basically how I'm feeling about it. I'm not loving it. I don't hate it right now, but I don't love it. Okay, so right now it is 9:40 a.m. I probably will come back and do like a midday check-in showing you guys how this looks. I'm gonna wear this for 3 days and then probably on the 3rd day, I will come back and give you guys my full final thoughts on the foundation. So I will see you guys in a little bit. Okay, so this is day 2 and I wanted to pop on here really quick and show you guys how it looks when I rub it in with my fingers. So typically I don't show me applying the foundation twice, but because I don't typically apply my foundation with my fingers, I wanted you guys to see how it would look. I also want to show you the consistency of this foundation on the back of my hand. I don't think that I showed you guys that yesterday. Now for primer, I went ahead and put on my Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base, and then today I did put on my Charlotte Tilbury, which is why my skin is extra glowy. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put some right on my face, and I'm just gonna like rub it between my fingers and then just start rubbing it in. Now typically when I apply with my fingers, I will like smooth it out and really work it into the skin with a sponge over top. I don't prefer applying my foundation with my fingers because I don't like it on my hands. It's kind of messy, and you know how foundation just gets everywhere? It's such a liquidy formula that it kind of feels like it would work really good with the fingers. All right, now I'm gonna go in with my sponge. Now, this sponge from Morphe is ticking me off. It doesn't feel like this one. Now, I know that this one's an old one, but I don't remember it being as hard as a brick. This one that I just got, that I used yesterday for the first time, it is hard as a brick. I don't know what the deal is with it, but it's kind of ticking me off. All I hope is that they didn't change the feeling of it, because if they did, I won't be using it. I do have my Wonder Beauty, which kind of feels like this one, my old one, so I'm okay with that. I will say right off the bat, you get more coverage with this foundation when blending it out with your hands than you do with a brush. So all I'm doing now is just going in and like building up coverage where I need it, because like I said in yesterday's video, once this foundation dries, it's dry and there's no going back. It probably stays tacky for maybe 5 or 10 minutes. It gives you time, well, maybe 5 minutes. It gives you time to move the foundation around and kind of get it where you want it and that kind of good application. But it dries and it's dried. Like there's no, you can touch it, you know, that's kind of why it's transfer resistant and humidity proof and all that. I just wanted to pop on here really quick and show you guys how it looks going over it and like rubbing it in with your hands and then kind of smoothing it out with a sponge. I do think that I probably prefer over a brush. This foundation, I don't know that I would apply with a brush. I haven't watched any reviews. Maybe people have had luck with a brush. I wouldn't recommend a flat kabuki because it felt like the flat brush just didn't work. Like maybe if you had more of a brush like this, where you're kind of like feathering it into the skin, it would probably work better that way, but not with a like flat top kabuki type foundation brush. That's my opinion on that. Okay, you guys, I'm back for my midday check-in. I just got done filming this eyeshadow look, and you guys have already seen this by now. I just got done filming the Kristen Dominique Berries and Cream palette. So it is $3.19 right now, and I wanted you guys to kind of get an idea about how this foundation is looking now that I've had it on for several hours. So I will say right off the bat, I did spray this Too Faced Do You setting mist. I only sprayed it once. My skin felt like the Sahara Desert and I couldn't stand that feeling. I'm like dry normal right now, and you know, if it was kind of maybe in the spring or in the fall, I probably could have done away with not using a setting spray or something to kind of give my skin some moisture. But this dries down so fast and like so like sucks it in. I'm gonna go ahead and pull you guys closer so you guys can see how this is looking, and then I will kind of give you some thoughts of what I've noticed, you know, wearing it outside. I've looked in the mirror, through the rear view mirror of my car, you know, that type of thing. So for this being more of a matte foundation, this isn't looking too bad. Now, it's looking better than my lipstick, I gotta say. But, I mean, it does crease. Like, I noticed right away that it kind of pulls away from, like, it creases pretty bad. Like, it goes down in, it's starting to peel right here around my nose. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it really emphasizes my creases right along here, and I don't like it on my under eyes. Now I'm wearing one of my favorite concealers. Some people will not put foundation like in this area and they'll choose their concealer. I typically don't do that. I put foundation all over my face and then put some concealer over top of it. But with this foundation, because it's so mattifying and I feel like it emphasizes texture, it emphasizes wrinkles, this isn't a foundation that you can do anywhere near the under eye. I really like the way that it looks on my forehead. A part of me actually really likes it, kind of loving it. But then there's parts of it that I don't like. And so I feel like I could kind of tweak it to make it that perfect foundation. And I think the way that I can do that is by using my Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base, which is super hydrating for my skin. Probably using a face oil, which the one I've been really liking is the one from Wonder Beauty. So I'm thinking, you know, put a face oil and let my skin kind of absorb that oil for like maybe 5 or 10 minutes and then go on with the foundation. I also feel like I could use my Tatcha, this is the Luminous Dewy Skin Mist. I feel like I could spray that on the sponge and kind of work that into the skin and kind of give it that dewiness without taking away from the finish of this foundation. I don't know. I'm gonna kind of tweak it. The thing that I love about this foundation is not budged. It's not budged one bit. And I've had it on for what, 6 hours now? Almost 6.5. It's not budged. Once I got done with the sponge and I got done kind of really tapping it out and kind of, you know, doing my thing, it dried down, and once it was dried down, it was done. So that's it for this first midday check-in. I will see you guys on Saturday evening, and I'm gonna give you guys the full rundown, my full final thoughts, and let you guys know if I was able to make this foundation work or if I wasn't, because I do feel like I want to make this work. Like there are things that I actually really love about this foundation, and then there's things that I'm like, oh, no, that's not gonna work. So I'm gonna get into all that. I will definitely let you guys know on Saturday night, and I will see you guys then. Okay, so I'm back for my final check-in and my final thoughts on this foundation. Now, I just want to let you guys know that it was almost 11 o'clock at night. So as you can see, well, maybe, there it is. It's almost 11 o'clock at night, and my little beauty room, filming room, is right next to my theater. So my family's in there watching the theater room. So if you guys hear TV, that's what it is. I'm sorry. I had to break away and come and film this final piece of this video so I can put it up for you guys tomorrow. Okay, so I have a lot to say about the foundation, and I pretty much know exactly how I feel about it. So let's get into it. All right, first things first. I actually really like this foundation, and the more that I've worn it, the more I like it. I do have to use some sort of setting mist with like glowing, you know, factors in it, because I need that extra hydration to last me throughout the day, because like I said, this foundation locks and it stays loaded all day and it doesn't budge. I rarely lose coverage. I think it fades away very naturally, but it doesn't start breaking off of the face. That's the one thing I think I like about it the most, is it's very, very dependable. Being a very affordable foundation, I feel like this foundation is just as good of quality as like some of the higher end foundations that I have in my collection. I just really like this. Even though it's more mattifying and I am more dry right now, I like it. I do. And it stays put. It's very dependable. I'm dry normal, so I don't have dry skin. I have what you would call maybe climate's, you know, dry skin, where it's not all the time. But if you are someone who has dry skin, I wouldn't touch this foundation with a 10-foot pole. And I do feel like it's a little bit misleading because it says that it's a fresh foundation. When you hear the word fresh, you automatically think dewy, glowy, that type of thing. But this is not the case with this foundation. This is definitely a 24-hour wear, which means it's going to have to be a little bit more on the mattifying spectrum just to be able to last that long. So with all that said, I do like this foundation. I do think somebody who has oily skin or combination skin is going to love this. So all of you out there that have oily and combination skin, you might want to pick this foundation up and try it, because this is pretty impressive in my opinion. Application wise, I feel like the best way for me to apply this is with my hands, like I did. That's the only reason why I filmed that, is because I wanted you guys to see if maybe using your hands to blend this in would be better, because it's so liquidy. It's probably one of the most liquidy foundations that I have in my collection. That is the reason why I wanted to try it with my fingers. And the warmth of your hands and stuff like that, and kind of rubbing it in, almost applies like a lotion. And then you can kind of go in and kind of smooth it out in the areas that you need to with some sort of sponge or whatever. And in my opinion, that's how you get the best coverage and the best finish. Now today, I did do the little trick that I wanted to try, using a glowing type setting mist. I did use the Catrice one, and I just sprayed my beauty blender like this, okay? And then I kind of tapped over my skin like this. And that's how I basically set the foundation. And I will say right away, for me, that is the best way for me to do it. It doesn't feel as dry tonight as it did the first night I wore it. The first night I wore it, I only sprayed this on it throughout. I sprayed it one time throughout that day. By the end of the night, I just felt so dry, and I just could not wait to get moisture on my skin. Yesterday, I used my Tatcha Dewy Mist, and that gave me a little bit more hydration where it wasn't so dry. So this morning I put on my Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base, and by the way, I applied this right around 10 o'clock this morning. So it's been on for like 12 hours now, and I think it looks amazing. But so I put on the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base, and then I put on my Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter, this right here, to give me that glow. You know, I love this product for that reason. But then I also went on with this oil. This is the Glow Ahead Face Oil from Wonder Beauty. All of those together combined just really made this just the perfect foundation. And then, of course, spraying it with this. For me, being that I have wrinkles, I have texture, I'm almost 40, matte foundations just really age me. I need to do all of those steps to really make this foundation work. Now, if you're somebody that's like, hey, I just don't want to do all that. I don't want to have to go through all that fuss and mess just to make a foundation work. I totally get that. I totally 100% understand that. I do think there's probably foundations out there that are maybe not as mattifying, but I will say the reason why I had to take all those steps is because if I think back to the first time I applied this, I remember moving my face like this and I felt like it was cracking because it dries down and like, it literally feels like a mask. Like it literally feels like your skin is like tight, almost like you put a mask on and then you're gonna peel it off. You know those, how your skin kind of feels tight and you do this and it's like, you can feel it kind of cracking. That's how it feels. So I needed all the moisture I could get to make this foundation work. But once I got all the moisture down, I love this foundation. And you can't even tell that it's been on that long. The only thing that looks different is I've lost all the coverage right here, just because that's kind of where I lose all my coverage, is right around my mouth. You know, most of us do, right? I think that's what I love about it. I think that's truly what I love about it. They did a phenomenal job with this. Now, I have not watched anybody's reviews on this. I don't know how everybody is feeling about it. I think they did a killer job on it. And I do feel like it's a long-lasting, long-wearing. Around my wrinkles, I kind of do this when I'm tapping the foundation out, you know, and really blending it. And because it's mattifying, you kind of have to do that, but this is a nice foundation. I've got you guys closer. I wanted you guys to see what this looks like. I think it looks really good, especially along my forehead. Like, it just looks really smooth and healthy. I'm really impressed with it. I mean, I've maybe lost some coverage right around here on my texture, but it's nothing like too major. I mean, it's been on for 12 hours. And typically, do we wear our foundations for that long? Not necessarily, unless you're like a nurse or somebody that works really, really long hours. Most of us are not wearing our foundation for 12 hours, but I think this looks fantastic for being on for 12 hours. I'm definitely going to take this to Florida with me and see how this wears in the humidity, because I definitely agree that this is probably a foundation that will be amazing in the humidity. I can totally understand that 100% because it doesn't really budge. If I had to rate this foundation on a scale from 1 to 5, I would definitely probably give it a 4. I would probably give it a 5 if I didn't have to do all these steps to make it work, but it's still really good. And I think it's a really impressive foundation. L'Oreal really, really killed it. So that is what I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I hope you guys enjoyed this Foundation Sunday video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you guys for your patience in waiting for this review. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend filled with love, happiness, and joy. I will see you guys tomorrow, and I love you so much. Bye!